Okay, all right. So you can start my time if you wish. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. So I want to start by actually giving you an introduction to my university. And I think that holds a basis as to what I'm going to talk about today and what I want to do. So let me introduce you to American University of Ras Al Khaimah. It is a public university based in the Northern Emirates of UAE. We are accredited by SUSI. We also have QAA accreditation, which is a UK-based body, and we also have CAA, which is by Ministry of Education in the UAE. In the recent QS ranking, we are ranked actually in the top 500 at a very modest 485th position across the world, and that makes us actually 6th in our country. I joined this university around 4 years back, and 2 years was under COVID, so I could not do much. But in the last 2 years, thanks to my leadership, we have been able to actually commission a TV studio. You will see in one of the visuals, the TV studio. And just last term, we had a podcast studio as well. So we have been doing great in terms of our outreach towards the local community. I'm going to talk about it in the next few slides. But most importantly, it made me think as to what can we do for our students, which we are not doing at the moment. And that brings me to the whole idea of, can we implement teaching hospital model, and where do we lack? So my presentation is going to be focused on the gap analysis that I did, what I learned from this program. And honestly, it's been a great program because we saw things in action. We went to Cronkite News, we saw it in action. We went to News 21. I spoke at length with John as well from the PR agency. And it's truly something that was so unique for me. And I really wanted to see if we can implement this model at my university. But most importantly, I wanted to give you an idea where we are at. Where are we right now? And where do we need to go to reach a teaching hospital model? This is a program which actually I designed and implemented last term, Saud bin Sakar Broadcast Journalism and TV Production Scholarship Program. We had students, our own students, and we also had government employees. So we had people from the different RAK government organizations. They were all put together. This program was for actually 3 weeks, and it was in total for 45 credit hours. Now hold on to that number because that number is important. I'll talk about it, why that number is important. We had 3 different streams. We spoke about multimedia storytelling and studio production. We discussed TV script writing and on-screen presentation. We also had a capstone which led to a studio production. Now, I must apologize for the bad editing you're going to see. It was a longer video, so I had to cut it short. But this gives you a very good idea what the program was all about.
And today we are exploring the innovative digital strides made by Ras Al Khaimah
in collaboration with the Sheikh Saud bin Sakar Al Qasmi Foundation for Policy Research and the Ras Al Khaimah Government. So you can see this is our PCR, this is our studio. For aspiring broadcasters to learn, innovate, lead.
The process was done, senior translator in right degree. I'm a content.
So he works for the Ras Al Khaimah Economic Department.
I decided to be in the podcast journalism and TV production program because it will be a great opportunity to hone my skills in media in different areas, in writing, in reporting, in photography and filming.
So you can see the visuals. These are the stories we did with our students. The final stories are a vibrant showcase. We did on culture, we did on work. Mastering the basics to executing detailed, captivating narratives. We had stories in both Arabic and English. So we aim to do this again in 2024, and that's where the whole idea of teaching hospital comes into play. So what do we need to qualify for a teaching hospital. There are 6 elements that have been discussed in that lecture by Casey Newton. You need to have students engaging in real-world tasks. You need to have professionals who mentor them. You need to have professors who also provide academic knowledge. You need to have innovators who are developing new tools. And you need to make sure that all participants benefit the community. Now, can we do all 6? Even if you get 3 right, you can still qualify to become a clinic and then become a proper teaching hospital. So I'm aiming for at least 3 to at least get there. And that is the reason why I feel that why I love this concept is because we are talking about the younger generation, we're talking about the digital natives, and they want to tell story, they're eager to tell story. So we're giving them a direction and what he calls as the soul of teaching hospital. I also feel that we're looking at change. We're looking at the way we can change the way we're telling stories. So just this last term, actually, we were the first university, my students produced the first 3D 180 VR film in the region. We partnered with Canon, so we are already there. We are already looking at the future of immersive storytelling, and we hope that we're going to be actually looking forward to a change towards the way we tell stories. So where do we fall short? We fall short in different aspects. We already have a podcast. We have tie-ups with local community where we actually go and cover events and we do stories for the local community. And I already give an example of the short-term program that we had just implemented. So what is the gap analysis? The gap analysis is that our initiatives are often fragmented. We do not have consistent mentorship from the industry professionals. When we went to ICT, when we went to Cronkite News, we saw how the professors of practice in action. They are there for the entire duration. Now that is something that we don't have. We have guest lectures, people coming and talking about, but they're just there for one day. We don't have any program where a professor of practice comes and are with and working with the student for a longer duration. That is what is missing. We also do not do anything which mirrors the real world journalism challenges. So that is something which I feel is lacking in what we are doing. And of course, we have nothing where we are trying to develop and test new tools. We are buying new tools, definitely, but we are not creating new tools. We are not basically developing, we are not innovating. So these are the things which I feel that we fall short. And now, the challenges. How can we overcome the challenges? So the first thing is funding for innovation. We don't have any funds locally which actually aims for innovation. And here I think I won't complain. The major focus of most innovators is towards STEM. There is no way that we can see a connection between mass communication and STEM. And I think that is where there's a big gap. We also don't have any interdisciplinary collaboration. I love the fact that Christy and Joshua can work together. You know, I mean, that is something that we don't have. Can we have connections across the board with engineers, with engineering departments, so we can do interdisciplinary collaborations? Now, the biggest problem is the change of the curriculum. And that's what I mentioned to you, that to remember the 45 number. Our program for 3 weeks was for 45 credit hours, 45 contact hours, because that is the qualification to become a micro-credential. So what we are going to do is that we're going to make this program and get it certified from the Ministry of Education as a micro-credential. So what will happen, an engineering student next year can do this program and add that credit into his program. We can have students coming from other universities and do this program, and they can use it as a micro-credential. But it's very difficult to get it done. We have to really go through lots of paperwork with the Ministry of Education, and changing curriculum is never easy. I think when we discussed with Christian and other faculty, I'm like, even ASU is going through a change of curriculum, it's never easy. It takes a lot of time. So ultimately, in terms of our main pointers for success, we are looking at media partnership. I love the fact that News 21 does a story and it becomes a national news. Wow. I mean, this is something that we would like to do. We would like to do a story next year that becomes a national news. And we also like to have more support from the local government, which I can see happening here. And every year, the US Embassy in the UAE actually sponsors artists and visual artists to come to UAE for a few weeks. Can we get Joshua? Can we get Brett? Can we get Pauline for a dedicated 2 weeks? And we run the teaching hospital model with them. So what's the hope? The hope is that we hope in the next 3 years, AURAK becomes an example of a teaching model outside the US. And that's what I'm going to aim for. And I can promise you that I'll keep you updated on what I'm doing, and you'll definitely see that we're inching towards that particular goal. And that's about it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.